In this video, we haul out for the third time in a year, and we replace the rudder bearings, races, and tubes.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
While we were in Carriacou and Petite Martinique, we realized the starboard rudder shaft was wobbling back and forth within the tube that runs from the engine compartment down to the exterior of the hull. Even in very calm waters, we could hear it go bonk, 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 with every small motion of the boat. Since our plan is to island hop up the Caribbean chain, we wouldn't have access to good yards and parts until we came back to Grenada for hurricane season. So we decided we should make this repair now. We spent 1 month on the hard, and we ended up doing a lot of projects all at once. But in these videos, I'm going to show you one repair at a time. I'll start with the rudders. And once again, we're taking Estrella out of the water much sooner than we anticipated. But the other rudder is jacked up, so John's got to fix it. And the bottom paint put on in South Africa is not really adhering properly. So we're going to sand it down and go all the way to gel coat and do the 2-epoxy primer. 2-epoxy primer. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet.
Bottom thing still looks good from here, other than all the slime.
Well, maybe we need to evaluate, see if we really truly need to do it. But
then you get we'll know once they pressure wash how much flakes off.
okay.
Because you know the big flaked up spots up there and everything.
All that red paint looks like a murder scene. After the power wash, they drive her to her parking spot. So here's the head office to manage all of this work from, right here. The first step for the rudders is to find the parts we didn't have. We needed 1 upper bearing, 1 retaining collar, 1 lip seal, 2 rudder tubes, 2 lower races, and 2 lower bearings. Of course, no one on island has those things, so we go searching the internet. Internationalboatspares.com out of France has exactly what we needed. 485 euros for the parts, and 465 euros for shipping, and 1 week later the parts were here. In the meantime, we remove both rudders, and that starts by digging a hole so we can drop the rudders from the boat. This is aluminum, or it was at one time. See how this ball doesn't move at all? The next step is to remove the bad parts. To get the starboard side ready, John had to remove the old rudder tube by knocking it back and forth with a hammer to break the Sikaflex seal, and then just pull it straight off.
Okay, how I got this lower bearing race out is I took my oscillating saw and I cut this ring, retaining ring. It's got threads that thread onto here on it. I cut this in half, one on each side, until I got just to the fiberglass. Took my hammer and hit each half away from these threads, and then I took and pounded those threads in, and then drove this straight out the bottom with the hammer. Came out really quickly. And then in the video you saw I was sanded this up and put some new gel coat on the inside of here, sanded and cleaned it up again. Then I put Sikaflex inside and on this. Then I built a special 2x4 which went up inside this race. I put it on a jack and jacked it up tight into the bottom of this, and then tightened this onto these threads, which sealed it all together solid. Once I got this tight, I just let the jack down, pulled it out, let that dry for a couple of days before I put the tube on. Yeah, let's see that. This one was replaced not that long ago.
It's not rusty like the starboard side one was.
Yeah, see, the starboard side was giant pits in this. This is fairly new compared to the other one.
So tell me what those pieces are that you're doing that to.
This is the inner bearing. This is the lower race that holds the bearing. This one is in excellent condition, actually.
You can see that bearing move really easily.
It's not really easily. It's fairly good. So
Do that again and move
this
it.
ball isn't that old, but it's a different type. It's black. The other ones are white, so I'll pull this one out and put a new one in there. It's self-aligning bearing. That's what this is. So when that goes up into the other one, up there, you can move it around like that. Just a little bit to get it to line up with the other one that's up above.
Because there's a bearing at the top too. Here, John grinds down the housing for the lower rudder assembly so he can make any needed gel coat repairs, while Sonny supervises. So he's trying to make that other place where the rudder goes in look like that.
This is the gel coat.
So we sanded down places that had some notches out of them, right, on the rudder and in the places where the rudder posts go. Is that right?
Yep.
And now John is mixing gel coat in order to fill those so that when the epoxy primer gets put on, it's a nice smooth surface like it's supposed to be. What is that?
These are fibers. They make the gel coat harder. Bonds it together. That's a hard sand, and this is a light sand.
Kind of a pizza dough consistency, huh?
Yep.
And you put it on your palette like a painter. And what is that?
Hardener.
Once you put that hardener in, how long will it take to harden up?
Depends on how much you put it in, how much you put in there. If you put more in, it will harden up a lot faster. Less in, it takes longer.
And that rudder, is that, what do you call that? Not the shaft, what do you call that? The rudder what?
This is where the lower bearing assembly goes.
So it's the hole that the rudder and assembly goes up into. I thought maybe it had a more technical name. But do we think these little chips and nicks happened as the rudder was, because the rudder bearing was frozen and the rudder was bouncing back and forth?
No. This just got sanded a little too much over the years, and so I'm just building it back up. It had a couple of deep gouges in it, so I'm filling in those gouges. And we'll sand it back out when we're done.
So here we are in the engine compartment. Our parts have arrived, so it's time to reinstall the rudders, and we start with the port side. Why I wear good clothes is beyond me. There's the rudder post. Is this a new rudder post or is that the old one?
That's the old rudder.
So this side was good. John just replaced the bearing on it, but he's putting the rudder in. You can see, is that yellow, is that like Sikaflex or what is that yellow stuff?
No, it's waterproof tape.
Waterproof tape. See, there's the waterproof tape. And there's the top.
Okay, so I'm going to tie that to the end of the rudder.
Okay.
So you can help guide it up through that bearing right there.
Okay.
When it gets to the bearing, I'll wiggle it through that bearing.
The bearing is the plastic part, right?
Right, the rubber.
Yeah, rubber part.
So once it gets through that, then you'll take this piece and put it over the top of it.
With the screw out.
Right. Well, yeah, and then slide this, and I'll push that thing all the way up in here as high as I can. And then you'll put this through the hole and you'll tell me how much room we have between here and there with the rudder all the way tight.
Okay.
And I was going to say, once we got it through there, you're going to take the line off the rudder.
Okay. Which do you want me to do?
It'll probably be easier having them off. That way they're not in the way to see to go through that thing there.
Okay.
'Cause that's the hard part, is getting it through there.
So when we take the line out, you can still hold the rudder, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Block it up?
block it once we get it up in there.
Okay.
Once we get it through that rudder part there, you'll tie it off. You'll tie it off.
Really? You're gonna have me tie something off when I don't know? I have yet to master.
I'll hold it up, and you just take the line and wrap it around something a couple of times to hold it until I get a block under it, because I have to run and fetch the block.
Okay. Is this ladder? This is not a good thing to tie it off to, though, right?
No, you'll probably have to go right to that pole.
Out here, this pole.
Or the pole right next to you. That's the heavy duty one. Yeah.
Okay. I gotta work on knots big time. I get them down and then I don't use them enough and I forget. So, more practice. Right as the rain gets here, I got it up. close. You got to go towards the stern. Well, it's just, hold on. How do I guide it? I can't. We're close, but it's just, it's crooked.
Reach in there with the rope and pull it where it needs to be.
It won't.
Right there?
It won't go through won't go through the bearing because it's crooked. You need to move this top pole towards the starboard. So your rudder needs to go towards port. Now up, push up. There. Okay, stop. So, where's the hole? Now, how do I get the... Yeah, we're there easily. So now tie a... We got like this much rudder post.
Let's untie it from the rudder. So
Untie it from the rudder?
yep, I got the rudder blocked up.
Oh, okay. It's okay, I can
You
do
got
that.
room to work there now?
I really don't actually, but I think it'll be okay. Okay. Let's see. I don't see where the holes are that screw goes into.
It's still down there yet. Once it comes up a little higher, you'll see it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, shit.
What?
I gotta drop it back down.
Okay.
I forgot to put my bearings on the other end. That sucks.
Okay, well, at least we know that works.
Let's wait for a minute, honey. Let the train pass. Get out of the engine compartment if you want.
I can't decide if getting out of the engine compartment and waiting.
You have any work clothes in the boat you can change into?
I think I do, yeah, some work pants.
Yeah, just let that sit there until the rain passes by a little bit.
Well, this intermission is brought to you by Mother Nature. Our video is sponsored today by Mother Nature. Mother Nature cares about you and she gives you rain, maybe when you don't want it, but you do need it. The hills in Grenada are a lot more brown. There's a lot more brown up there than when we arrived. Actually, in West Texas, she doesn't always give it to you when you need it, does she? And in Seattle, she gives it to you when you don't need it. That's Mother Nature. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Okay, I got it and I'm holding on to it. I'm pulling. There. Okay, you push the rudder to port. There. It's in and up.
Yeah, I got a board under it.
Okay. I'm untying. Okay, now, my suggestion is for me to put both of these in. Go ahead and put both in, because that's how you want it, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't, then we do it. Then I'll take them off. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, now that works. Where will the hole be? Is it forward to aft or side to side?
I think it's side to side, forward, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to... Okay. And is it that hole, does this post have to come all the way up to here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it'll go all the way up through that hole there, so.
Okay. Should I don't know that I can tie the rope back though. Should just take the rope off?
You just, you'll be
standing there where you can see the top there,
Yeah.
and then you'll just look at the top and you'll grab it with your hand and pull it to line it up, and then tell me to push it in.
Grab it, my hand here?
No, underneath.
Underneath. Oh, I got you. Okay.
And then you'll just line it up, you know, pull it left, right, whatever, line it up. So
Okay.
you don't have to be fast with that bolt. We can take our time, because once it's up in there, I got a board set up. It's going to hold it up. I'll come out here and push on it, make sure it's all the way up. Then you can.
Okay.
So right now, our next step is just you got those two pieces on there, right?
The two pieces are on.
Okay.
Go. Keep going up. It's all lined up.
In there?
Yeah. It just needs to. Is it going to stay flush? Does it stay flush with that bearing, or does it have to come up above that bearing?
No, it's just wherever it's at on that bearing, where it's going to rest.
I don't see the hole though. Hold on. Oh, there I do. I see it.
You get it hold there?
I don't know. I'm trying right now. Righty tighty. I can't just slide it in. Oops, now it's stuck. Oh. Okay, hold on here. No, there's just like a millimeter. This second bearing is like a millimeter or so too tall, because when I take the top bearing off, I can slide it right in. But when I put the bearing back, the hole in this bearing is just slightly too high for it to go in. Does that make sense?
Yes. Let's see what we got here, though. This one here is. I think one side was lower than the other. Now.
Okay, we'll try the other side. I didn't do that.
It's right there, though.
It is.
What if we tap that down a little bit?
Tap it with.
If this gray one got popped up just a little bit, if it will tap down in there a
You
little
want me
bit.
to take the screwdriver to? What do you want me to do?
No, here.
Hit it.
Let me get you a little hammer. Just lightly tap around it.
Tap the plastic part, right? This plastic bearing.
Yep. Just slightly tap all the way around it. Okay.
Okay, now.
Try tapping on that bolt. Tap that
Tapping
bolt
on the
through.
bolt.
Yeah.
This way?
Yep. No, in.
Is that going to be too
Okay,
tight?
hold on.
Now John's going to try to turn the rudder to make sure that it turns nicely. It looks smooth in here. You know what? That big plastic piece is turning with the little one. So it's turning on the bearing anyway, on the rubber gasket anyway.
I think it's just good because it'll wear, everything will wear a little bit. Work fine.
So if the rubber gasket wears first, is that a bad thing? Will that do damage?
No, because there's the aluminum there. Eventually it'll wear and then everything else will start moving.
Okay. So go ahead and put this nut on. Does it turn all the way, port and starboard, as far as it should, without hitting the hull?
Well, it hits the hole, but I think it's gonna not hit when we get the bar. I think it's gonna stop at a certain spot.
Okay. Well, do we go ahead and
Bolt it up.
Rudder replacement, take 3. What do you call that plastic piece here, John? Just a
Teflon washer.
Teflon washer. That's what that is. It's supposed to be stationary and this move on top of it. But it's much thicker. Is that the one we just got from France? Is that the new one?
Yeah, that's the new one. That's the old one.
But look at the difference in, here's the old one. And see the difference. So that's why it was so hard to get this bolt in. So we are taking this out to put this old one back in. Okay, so.
Yep, just set it there on the wrench like that.
Okay. Okay.
I'll drop it down just a little bit.
Just enough for me to take these off?
Yep, take that.
Yep. Yes, that's enough. Wow, that went on easy peasy. Okay, back up. It's there. Where's the bolt?
Slide right through now.
Slides right through. Okay. There. Now that we have the rudder in, John is reattaching the rudder to the crossbar that connects both rudders to make sure both rudders are in the same position when you turn the wheel.
So when you tighten this up, you want to make sure that it's up high enough to hold this bar up. So when you set this on here, it holds this bar up off the cross beam of the boat there. The guys who did this in Cape Town, Durban, bolted this too low, and it was scraping real hard. I had to come in here out at sea and redo it. Fine line between too high and too low because the bar sags in the middle, and if you don't have it up high enough, the center will drag, and if you have it too high, it'll drag up at the top up here. So.
Is that bar made to sag, or has it done that over the years?
It's just a long span that sags just a little bit. Turn the wheel for me.
Yes, I can turn the wheel for you.
Good, hold it there.
Hey, here's the other dog, the other.
Old guy.
Yeah, this is another dog. He startled Sonny. Now it's time to reinstall the starboard side. Here, John is greasing the rudder shaft with non-conductive, corrosion-resistant, waterproof grease before he puts the Teflon washer onto the shaft.
Gotta go up a little bit more so I can get the board under it. Okay.
The aluminum rudder tube on the port side was still in really good condition, so we left it in place. All we could purchase for the Leopard 39 was the new fiberglass rudder tubes, so John is installing the new tube on the starboard side. On this side, we're putting a brand new rudder post. Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Because it was so corroded. The aluminum was corroded, and now they make them in fiberglass. So John is installing that. John is priming this area where he will use Sikaflex to secure the tube in place. It's important to get this spot sealed so that the seawater doesn't flood up into the engine room when we go back in the water.
Okay. Okay, let's see if we can get this one to go in. I'll go lift it up.
You want that to dry more?
Nope, because we want all the pressure of this thing hanging down on it.
Oh, yeah.
So it holds it down into place and we get it in line. Perfect.
Now we switch places for John to go lift the rudder while I put the screw in.
Oh, it's moving. Hold on. It's moving too much. Straight up. Move the rudder towards the aft. There, up. Keep going. I think you're there. I think you're there. Right, the pin is in.
Okay, and both things are there and everything, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead and put this little top on.
Yeah.
Does it just pound them?
Yeah. Stomps on.
Okay, the rudders are in.
Up next, we take the bottom down to gel coat, apply an epoxy resin primer, and the new bottom paint. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, comment, like, and share all the things that YouTube likes to see.